It's one of the coolest people on planet Earth. Cool guy, cool voice, and he's the whole package. Great friend of the show, one of my favorite people in the world. I'm so happy he's back once again. Sirius XM producer Danny Lynch is in the building. Danny, oh man, what's up, you handsome son of a bitch?
Maddie, we didn't talk about this before, but are you cool if I play my own sound?
Of course you can. Let's get it. We'll get to the
Let's go.
Get the Fred in there and all that. It's better yet. It's Danny Lynch. Love it, man.
Yeah, I got it all. I got it all, Maddie. It's always a pleasure to be with you, brother. I miss you so much.
I miss you too, man. I miss you too.
You're one of my best friends on Instagram. You're just someone who I know, no matter what time of day it is here in Los Angeles or whatever time it is back in New York, you're gonna get back to me fast as possible. I wish all my dates went like this. I wish all that stuff. I'm
me too, dude.
But we've had such a great connection since we've been interns together at Sirius XM. And to now, and yeah, bro, it's just every single time that I have the honor to be on a microphone with you, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna do it. So appreciate you having me back, man.
Hey, man, I don't take it for granted. You're one of my best friends on Instagram too. Such a great friend in real life. I mean, you're as real as it gets, Danny. You're exactly what somebody wants in a good friend. And I mean, it's easier and easier as we continue this relationship.
No doubt, brother. No doubt.
Oh, man.
What's good in Connecticut, bro?
Well, I'm actually New Jersey City, but yes, at the moment I'm in Connecticut.
What am I talking about? Jersey City. I gave you the blessing.
Yes, you started it all. What?
I think you would be a Jersey City guy, and I love you there. I almost forgot about that. What do you think about Jersey City so far, comparison wise to living in Manhattan or anything like that? Because I'm pro Jersey City hard.
Awesome. Well, this is a perfect transition because I had this off the bat. But so yes, living in Jersey now. So it's my mom's birthday, so I am in my Connecticut studio.
Okay, I'm not crazy. I knew that. Okay, I see. I know what I'm talking about here. I knew you were there. I was like, what the hell? I was like, right, maybe you got the exact backdrop, but all right.
Hey, man, very soon there. But yes, I'm not in my apartment at the moment, but I'm here as my car had some issues, so I brought it back to my mechanic here in Connecticut to help it out.
The one guy
the one guy instead the dealerships that give you a headache. So that's why I've been here. Also, my mom's birthday is over the weekend, so I go back tomorrow, anyways, or the time of this recording. But to answer your question, Jersey City, I'm closing in on my first year there in Bergen Lafayette specifically, and. It did take a solid few months to get used to, but once you got used to it, it is home. And especially when I was Uber driving and Uber Eats, when I literally found I figured I've been on every single quarter of Jersey City. In fact, all of North Jersey, really. But I like I will start with some of the pros. The food's excellent. The views are incredible. I personally like not pumping my own gas, so no issues there. I enjoy the path and how fast it is to get to Manhattan, and especially for a city that's really cleaned itself up, it's a really awesome place at this point in my life. And then there's some things I'm looking forward to some changes. Obviously everyone talks about the roads. It's amazing how many road closures there are. Some of the stoplights take forever, dude. I mean, I once clocked it a full 5 minutes. So when you're going, I forgot which bridge exactly, but if I'm going towards Newark, towards the Pulaski, there's this intersection. There's a Shell on one side. There's a, you probably recognize it's right near this 9-hole golf course.
Are you talking about Communipaw Avenue?
Yeah, exactly. Communipaw Avenue. Longest
exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, and then when it turns green, it's only green for 2 seconds.
Right.
Of course. But we could change that up. I'm not crazy about my apartment parking situation, but that's dealing with them. But besides that, And just finding, niche. My group of friends there is pretty much mooching off my roommate's friends. I've gone on some dates here and there, and you're just waiting till somebody wows you. But you keep trying anyways. But besides that, Jersey City's huge thumbs up for me, and I'm really digging it. And I like my neighborhood in Bergen Lafayette, but when my lease ends in July, maybe we could see what the Heights is up to. A lot of people saying good things. Yeah. If we could somehow get a good spot in downtown Jersey City, we'll go for it. And I mean, that's another thing. I love the nightlife. Yeah. We have the Ashford, South House,
Porta,
yes, Porta,
bro.
We got Porta. We got there's one I'm really blanking on. They do $7 for really shitty beer and really shitty.
Is it in that downtown Newark Ave area?
Yeah, the pet shop. The pet shop's really good.
I think that just opened when I left, if I wasn't mistaken. So I haven't checked that spot out too. And then there's another spot downtown that's like, man, I can't. It's something FM. It on the outside of it, there's like, it looks like there's like a radio type of theme, something FM, and it's downtown. I think it's across the street from like Two Boots Pizza.
Okay, I know exactly where that is.
I like that spot too. No, Jersey City's extremely underrated. I always tell anyone who's like thinking about moving to Manhattan or Brooklyn or all that type of stuff, like, hey, just check out Jersey City real quick, because there are so many options there for sometimes half the price of what you'd be getting in Manhattan or even Brooklyn, which is quote unquote cheaper, which it's really not.
No, it's not.
And, if you're getting into Manhattan or anywhere, like getting into the path is just essentially like going onto a subway station or a subway. So I always give credit there. Also, the best cheeseburger, I think, in the country.
Oh, I know that spot.
Park Tavern on it's off of Communipaw Avenue.
Oh, yeah. It's about like 5 minutes from my apartment. I know exactly. You took me there when I visited you that first time.
I think it was the first place where I took you. Right next to Lincoln Park. Okay. It is the best cheeseburger you will ever have. They just do something to it. I haven't had it in so long, and my mouth is literally watering as I'm thinking about it right now. But so much love for Jersey City. If I ever come back east, it automatically going to Jersey City. Not even
please do.
Thinking about Manhattan.
Now, that's also what I wanted to add out to the conversation. You talk about living. So, lots of couch hoppers, spend a lot of time in, all 5 boroughs now, right? Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I really learned essentially was my fit. One, having a car in Jersey City is amazing. And one thing, because I've been driving so much, I feel so confident driving in those streets. And so when I learned to see in these apartments, like if we go out with other friends, pre-gaming, or you drink a little too much and you stay in their place, like, wow, this is really crammed. This is really difficult to just to feel like you get your own breathing space. At least in Jersey City, I feel that. I feel I have that. I can see the skyline from where I live, and wow, this is such a benefit, and especially both the having the car where I could go to a grocery store easily.
Team Aldi's butt fans.
What?
Team Aldi.
I go to the ShopRite actually there,
okay.
But
Aldi, bro.
Aldi.
People sleep on Aldi. And, essentially, I get it. If you're trying to ball out a little bit, not get that name brand stuff, whatever. For me, I whatever is the cheapest option for your boy, I will take. Aldi, I wish they had them on the West Coast, because we're stuck with like Trader Joe's. We got something called Ralph's out here, which is essentially ShopRite. But the Aldi, man, had the best spot. I want to say it was in Union.
Aldi, because I've definitely driven past it. It's ringing a bell.
Right. But people sleep on Aldi all the time. And to all the listeners,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they're spread out throughout New Jersey. They have like their own specific brand. It's like the blue checkmark type thing. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I've gone there a couple of times.
Bang for your buck, dog. bang for your buck. To all the listeners out there who are just trying to save, those dineros towards the end of the month, it's getting tight. You got rent, you got, a boyfriend, girlfriend that you got to pay for. Swing over to Aldi's, man. We got some really good off-brand Cheerios, decent prices on
pretty
like
huge
brown. Yeah, and you got the big bags over there too. And you gotta, and this is the one thing I love about Aldi's is you're responsible as a shopper. You have to put a quarter in to get the card out, and then in order to get the card out, you gotta put the key thing in and pop it out. So a responsible consumer of products, that's what they're looking for at Aldi. So shout out to Aldi, man. No free ads here. No free ads here. But my love to Aldi and everything in Jersey City.
Absolutely. And the one thing I'm still so right now for the gym, I have Planet Fitness. Closest one's in Bayonne, but it's always packed when I need to go. Always packed, all types of days. So then I have Hoboken, which has no parking whatsoever.
Yeah. Parking,
Like there's no point to pay to go to the gym when I already pay in a subscription. So at this moment, and I don't mind, I take a little extra time to go to the Clifton one on Bloomfield Ave, drive past MetLife, relaxing over there. It's a good time. That's the one, as much, gas is expensive still. So I hope that soon.
Don't even talk to me about expensive gas. Don't even bring it up, bro.
Oh, man. You're right. Mr. Newsom, Governor Newsom's really pulling some whammies there.
Gavin, the thing about him is like the state of California, we have so many elections in order to get him out of office.
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, I've lived here since 2019, and I think we've had maybe 5 recall elections to get him out. And
just can't get him out.
Listen, it's a very liberal state in California. But the thresholds to get that vote is so easy. So, has he done the best job as the governor? No, but he also has had to fund his own recall election votes in order just to become governor again, to even try to put any sort of law in this state.
And now he wants to run for president.
It's kind of a mess. Yeah. And, he had a decent chance. I think he had a decent chance probably back in like 2020. But, there's a lot of other issues in this state that necessarily aren't his fault. And, Governor Newsom kind of came into my world a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago now that I'm thinking about it, when UCLA and USC decided to leave the Pac-12.
Yes, I wanted to touch upon that for a few minutes. Yeah, they're going Big 12. Some realignments coming.
Yeah. Well, they're heading to the Big 10.
Big 10, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but trust me, the Big 12 has given me headaches too for work. But we got that news pretty randomly, and UCLA is a part of the UC Regents, which, basically controls all of the UC California schools. So we're talking UC Davis, UC Berkeley, UC anything, UC Irvine, UC Santa Barbara. It's all in the same type of region, or it's controlled by the region, including UCLA. And about a week before the season, Governor Newsom had a pretty big stink about it. He said, I didn't even know about this, blah, 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 blah. This is crazy. We're not going to let this happen. And, called this big meeting to have everything, have the regions there. Hey, UCLA athletics, how did this decision process even go down? What is this? What is that? Why was I not made aware of this as the governor of California, the person in charge of it? Went on, local news here, made this whole big deal about it. The governor didn't even show up to the meeting. So it's just like
hosting your own party you don't show up to and you want to change.
And I don't know if anything would have changed if he showed up, or I don't think anything is necessarily going to change. I think they legally can get out of the Pac-12 and move to the Big 10 and make a lot more money, losing a lot more games. So, I don't see anything necessarily wrong with it from a branding standpoint. I think there's a massive issue with it. I don't know if you've watched UCLA football.
Yeah, where are all the people? I mean, I see the Rose Bowl is so empty, bro.
Yeah.
That's tough to hear. And they have a pretty good history in their football.
No doubt. No doubt.
Look at Troy Aikman, for instance, and they get these solid players, but no one's going to these games. Why don't you invest in a smaller 30,000 seat stadium? And I'm sure there's plenty of room to put it, right?
Well, I mean, first off, the Rose Bowl is an unbelievable venue. And it's a historic venue.
Guys won a Super Bowl there.
They did. It's an historic venue. What has happened on that field, from football games to other entertainments that have been there, are unbelievable. And I think it's the 100th year of the Rose Bowl. So, they can never get rid of it. You can never get rid of it. But what people don't realize is the Westwood campus and the Rose Bowl on a good day without traffic is 45 minutes away. So on a college football Saturday, let's say the game starts at 12:30. You're a UCLA student. It's a Friday night, going out partying. You want to get up at 8:30 in the morning to get on a bus and then drive to the Rose Bowl and then have to wait, and it could be an hour, could be an hour and a half, and then go to the Rose Bowl. It's stupid hot. I mean, the first week I was there, week 1, they played Bowling Green. It was 106 degrees here in LA.
Insane.
You gotta understand when people are like, well, it's hot all over the country. Okay, you're completely right, but it's not normally hot in Los Angeles. Okay, 90 degrees here is ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
We added humidity to a city that almost has zero humidity all year long. I mean, people here did not know what to do. Like, legitimately, like they were treating this heat wave like it was a snowstorm back east. That's how we deal with weather out here, is because we're so used to it being absolutely beautiful every single day. And when it's not, people stay inside as if it was a 6-foot snowstorm from home.
And then all the energy issues people have been talking about, and getting notes from your governor saying, hey, keep your AC up no higher than this temperature and shit
something like that. Something like that. But I always say this, whenever, someone asks me about like, oh, what's going on with the wildfires? Or someone asks me about, hey, do you have to keep your energy levels down? I always say this. You guys on the East Coast know more about those issues than we do here in Los Angeles. Like, every single time someone brings this up, it's someone from the East Coast. It's never anyone in LA being like, hey, bro, you got to watch the energy levels. Or, hey, man, we'll let you know there's like a giant wildfire that's like 5 miles away. No one, we do not know anything about that. And I'm pretty well informed. I'm on Twitter every single day. I watch the news. I'm one of those weird 29-year-olds who still watch the news every single day.
Hey, I've adapted that right now in my life too, especially to just improve being a host. That's what you have to do. Be well read.
I don't know. There's something like that, like intimate about watching the news at the end of the day, even though like most of the stories are terrible. It kind of just like
wraps my
whole day up. It kind of just puts everything into perspective. For me personally, but for the most part, like when anyone tells us about like oh my god, the wildfires, like do you see any of them? Like, oh, nope, normal day to me.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
Energy levels, like I had my AC at like 68 and it was going all night. I don't care.
Yeah, nobody's gonna knock your door down and say, what are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna run that until they tell me not to. Then I'll figure it out. But yeah, we had the ACs going really high, but it got really, really hot here. But going back to UCLA, their issues stem just from it being 45 minutes away. And we always have a saying in Los Angeles, everything's about 35 minutes away. But the second you add those 15 minutes in, no one wants to show up at all. I mean, LA is a bit of a soft guy city. So you throw that in and like, oh, I don't want to go that far. And no disrespect to the HBCU schools. No disrespect. I think it's awesome. I think it's amazing that we could have games being played this early in the season that represent HBCU schools playing against a big time school like UCLA, right? But unfortunately, that just doesn't sell tickets, and that's just straight up.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie there. And as you know, once you get these Big Ten schools come in, 2026, 27 is the range.
2024 is when there's
even earlier. Right. So you'll have, your Michigans and Ohio States play. Yeah. You'll have Rodgers coming through. I mean, even though this will make, your work different, work on the Pac-12 network, are you excited for this change? Do you see it as a challenge? Do you just see this is obviously the trend college football is going in the FBS, and, also add on top of the all the endorsement deals for players too? How do you see this on a grander scale?
I mean, this all stems back really to NIL.
Yeah.
Once the players started to profit off of their name, image, and likeness, schools all over the country, from schools like Texas to UCLA to King's College in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, had to adjust a little bit. And I wasn't necessarily shocked when I heard the news. I just thought there would have been more of a fight from the Pac-12 conference to keep them, but legally, they couldn't do anything. Let's start with USC for a second. USC is a private institution that could, on paper, do whatever they want. UCLA, from a branding standpoint in Los Angeles, especially when you talk about the basketball program and when they're very good, they've
had a good few years recently.
Right. And they're just as popular as the Lakers when they're good. And going to Pauley Pavilion, it's an unbelievable experience if you're a college basketball fan. It's awesome. So there is complete value between both programs when you talk about USC football and UCLA basketball. And listen, if UCLA football ever decides to be decent, people will show up to the games later in the year. That will happen. There still is a fan base here. I do think this is probably what we are going to expect going forward from all Power 5 conferences, right? We saw Texas and Oklahoma kind of start this off when they decided to leave the Big 12 and join the SEC. And I think a lot of schools started to realize, hey, I might as well take a chance on that and profit just like the players are now profiting off their name, image, and likeness. Let me profit in a weird sense off of our name, image, and likeness, which we, technically have been doing for years, but to a greater extent. And
UCLA,
dude, they're getting paid the same amount of money that Ohio State and Michigan will be making in 2024. They don't have to wait like Rutgers and Maryland did when they joined, right? When it comes to the shared revenue, they're getting full buy-in, full payout. They're going to get that. Why wouldn't you take that? Of course you would.
Especially in this world now.
Of course. The amount of money that they're going to be getting to be paid to lose games is, of course, you're going to take it. My problem with that is the integrity of the game gets messed with, right? It doesn't really matter anymore if you win or lose in college football. It doesn't.
No.
App State, let's think about them. They got paid a lot of money, right? Last week by Texas A&M, and they won. They're still playing for that type of thing, right? But realistically, at the end of the day, even if they lost that game, they still would have won, right? So there's just so much money in college sports. It's
my brother's FCS school at Wagner College playing Rutgers and Syracuse in these upcoming weeks. They're in the same boat. Do whatever they can to make to keep their programs afloat. And
wouldn't you take that though? Wouldn't you take $1 million and
of course
potentially lose a left tackle for the rest of the year? I would do that too. And it's just unfortunate. It's become such a business. But this is the way that it should be run, right? This is way better than kids not getting paid and last second of their career, it looks like he's gonna be a top 5 pick and he tears his ACL, and now the guy is working at McDonald's because he wasn't able to make enough money during his college days where he could have been making at least $4 million a year playing football. So I think this is the right direction that we're going. It's just gonna be a lot more change. And I think the college football fan is a little bit more adaptable than the NFL fan. So, it's going to continue to change. I think the future of the Pac-12 conference, honestly, is very, very strong. We've seen this year the Pac-12. I mean, we have right now heading into week 4, we have 4 ranked teams.
All right.
USC is definitely on their way back. They're becoming that fun, sexy team of, the early 2000s.
Those Matt Leinart years and stuff.
Oh, USC, Reggie Bush. I mean, Lindell White. Remember that name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so USC is definitely becoming sexy again, and the thing about Angelinos are, they still haven't bought into the Rams. They just haven't. The Rams won a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl last year, and it's still
at your home stadium too,
right? Which is gorgeous too, by the way. And you look at them, and you're just like, you guys won the Super Bowl, right?
What else are you asking for?
And more people will show up to USC games right now than the Rams games. So it is a thing. And, the brand of USC football, when they are good, it's extremely valuable. When they aren't, people in LA don't show up. Just like we've seen at UCLA, even though they're under technically, but barely beat the University of Southern Alabama last week by a point, 1 point. That's what they beat it by. And that's what the Big Ten wants, by the way. Just, that's what they want.
And, also you are expanding the playoff system as well, giving more teams and opportunities to get exposure. And, when you talk, at least focus on college football and these individual players, of course, you like to think they'd want to leave a legacy, but they're just trying to grow their stock to get in the draft and stuff like that. And, and probably transition to this next point, just how much more sports have become a business, and especially the professional level too. I mean, it's fascinating, and I guess you will ultimately see who are the genuine ones when it comes to contracts and walk years and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like obviously our boy Aaron Judge playing the greatest walk year of any professional athlete on his way to about to break the all-time single season home run record for the Yankees on it. Just 2 home runs out of the at the time of this recording.
Right.
And he's on his way to also being a Triple Crown. He's definitely winning the MVP, but this is a real test. Oh, has to. I mean, how can he not? He's literally carrying this Yankee team on his back.
I'll tell you this though, legitimately people down here or down in Anaheim think Ohtani should win it. Like legitimately do.
I mean, what a trash franchise. They blew it up in May. The season was over. They fired their manager. I mean, fine. I understand that he is literally a special case, but come on, Aaron Judge is doing insanely historic things. And
stuff doesn't get done like that, no doubt.
And the big thing here, and we can talk about how much does somebody care about their legacy beyond how much someone's getting paid. Obviously, his contract's up. And the question is he going to come back to the Yankees, probably get that captain, probably become a captain, or is he going to leave for more money? And you would think leave for more money, go back home to San Francisco Giants that people think are the front runners, or any team rather. I think he's a perfect example of the way he holds himself, always puts the team in front of him. When it's time to getting paid, you're obviously going to get life-changing money either way. Are you going to go to another team? I mean, they'll definitely love you from the start, but you know how hard it is to get a legacy in New York. Are we going to see him choose the business side over returning to the Yankees and being beloved by the fan base? What do you think from what you see?
I mean, if you're talking about business strategy, why would you leave New York City in general? Why?
Yeah.
To go to San Francisco, where it's more expensive to live. It's ridiculously expensive there. It is I don't know, let's say I would say they're a top 15 market in the country, right? You got the Bay Area, that's a pretty big, but it's New York City and you're on the New York Yankees and you're hitting home runs and you're already a cultural icon to most kids under 10 years old.
Especially for a sport that needs those cultural icons.
Why would you want to give that all up? And granted, for more guaranteed money, completely understand that. But the guy's brand value completely drops dramatically. Like,
yeah, right.
And I'm saying this is San Francisco we're talking about. I love going to San Francisco, by the way. Awesome.
I haven't been there yet. I
Awesome
definitely want to try to check it out.
Really cool, really easy to get around. I mean, obviously you got like the hills and stuff like that, but it's awesome. The food's unbelievable, great people overall. But guess what? It's not New York. Like, it's not.
Do they care that much about the Giants as much as a New Yorker cares about the Yankees?
No.
There you go.
Not at all. They care about the Warriors.
See,
the Warriors are the team there, right? Like, you know, and I'm sorry. I mean, like, if you're Aaron Judge and you're thinking about your true value, not as just a baseball player making the money that you get from your game checks, right? I think his value dramatically drops. I mean, let's just imagine if Barry Bonds was either in Boston or with the Mets or with the Yankees. Oh my God.
Maybe more people would have turned their head the other way.
Won that. Think about that. Yeah, that's
like printing money for the rest of his life.
King of New York. Aaron Judge is already the king of New York. He is the number one athlete in New York City, and it's not even
100% over Kevin Durant and over, DeGrom and
Saquon,
Daniel Jones, Zibanejad on the Rangers. There
you
go.
Yeah. I mean, I love Zibanejad, but yeah, he's the number one guy. So why would you want to leave that situation? Everything is built up for you, but I get it, man. I mean, maybe he wants to go back west. Maybe he is that guy. Maybe he wants to reinvent himself and kind of just like, hey, this is my team and this is what we're going to do with it. I just think his value as a branded player that we're living in, if you have already proved to be successful in New York City, the hardest place to play baseball in, not even basketball or football, the hardest place to play baseball in, why give that up? And if the Yankees are smart, you basically have the second coming of Derek Jeter in a 255-pound body. Like,
and he's a true 5-tool player. He is the perfect baseball player.
Give him whatever he wants. Give him whatever he wants. That's what I want to say out of him. But yeah, I just think the second that you leave New York City, your value drops dramatically. No matter who you are, if you're a middle of the pack MLB player or you're Aaron Judge, no matter where he goes, your value is not going to be the same. Even if you go to the Mets, your value is not still as high from a branding aspect as Aaron Judge in New York City, being a New York Yankee.
Yes, so the very next face of the franchise.
I think you stay there. I already think he is the face of the franchise.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying with Jeter, as you said, Jeter was the true face. Give it now Aaron Judge's. Man, don't give that up. And if he does leave, that is his decision too. We have to put that in account. But man, Yankee fans are at their wits' end.
He hated for the rest of his life though. If he does leave. Because
exactly.
That's our. We're salty, man. Like, you leave us, bye.
Look what happened to Cano. Never got that love again.
It's gonna break our. If that does happen, there will be so many people heartbroken in New York City, and that hasn't happened in a real long time.
Yeah, and we're on the brink. They have been playing better. It was not looking good in August. It was looking very, very bad.
Oh yeah.
And Cashman is on a walk here himself. Hasn't made the best decisions. And you know what? If this team falls flat on its face, doesn't make the World Series, you have to do everything to make sure the stadium isn't burned down. And if you have a horrible postseason loss and Judge leaves, I mean, I don't even want to think of those dark days.
Yeah, no, he definitely didn't hit on the pitching like I thought he was going to.
What a joke it's turned into.
Garrett, and I'm like, man, like, listen, Garrett's a hell of a pitcher.
He went to UCLA.
Yeah, little Bruin action for you. But it just didn't work out. It simply didn't.
You don't trust him as your ace.
No, and I am a little nervous. Let's say that the Yankees do somehow leave the playoffs in round one. Like, you got to get rid of Booney, and I like Boone a lot. I think I think he's perfect for the media role as the Yankees manager.
Yeah.
I just worry about like gut decisions of being like, hey, no, I'm the manager of this team. Like, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like Dayball, who's
No.
holding his players accountable right away, which we'll get into after this. But he just seems like more of a player's manager. Like, oh man, like if John Carl has a bad game, well, at least he was making some solid content. But he went 0 for 4, bro.
Yeah,
It's stuff like that, and you can't keep, the definition of insane, doing the same thing over and over, thinking a different result. That's exactly what's happening here. And, people are booing Hal Steinbrenner. And seriously, the tone for the future isn't within the next couple of weeks for this Yankee franchise. And you can only hope they can make this major change.
How many games you get to this year?
I only got to 2, but both wins. I bet parlays on them and they hit every time on those 2 games, but it's all over the place. And I've only made 2 games, but I'm definitely going to try to get to October game no matter what. That's as good as it gets. But only 2 this year. And one the best I saw that I wanted to Yankees Red Sox. Judge hit 2 home runs that day when Matt Carpenter was there. And that was a lot of fun. And I figure I went with my dad and brother, while I'm trying to, do whatever everyone else is doing in this world, keeping up. I was like, I'm fine. This is the last game of the year. But again, I'll change that for a playoff game, of course.
Yeah, I think there's nothing like the Bronx in October. Like everything just smells better there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything like has like a little bit like of this like filter that's like playoff Yankee baseball. Over the beautiful 160 First Street.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what I'm talking about? You just have to be there to see it. Like, it's that glow. Like, even like at the Rose Bowl at sunset, like it's just this.
Oh, I could imagine.
That is unbelievable that you have to just see it to be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, the Bronx have that, man. I miss the Bronx so much. I miss being on the subway. I miss doing all that stuff, man.
Going to stands and Billy's after.
I've actually never been there.
Really?
No.
Oh man, we got to chase that tradition. As you said, baseball, for its flaws being slow, it's amped and dramatic in the playoffs. So you combine that with literal chill atmosphere, everyone focusing at once, everybody's your best friend at that. And then when there's an insane moment, go ahead home run, incredible play, everyone screaming at once, and the place literally shakes. It doesn't beat it. And that's why October is literally my favorite month of the year, on top of NFL football, on top with that. And
October's amazing. Yeah, dude. I mean, my de facto LA team is the Dodgers, no doubt.
Yeah,
love going to Dodger
They're kicking some ass. I mean, they know how to stay comfortable.
Right. And, they're an NL team, so I don't feel like guilty rooting for them and all that type of stuff. I have been to Anaheim, and that's honestly a great place to watch a game. Really,
I heard that. Nice Orange County. That's Orange County, right? Like good vibes over there.
I mean, it's not LA. They should just be called the Anaheim Angels. I don't really necessarily get it. The Ducks play right across the street from them, and they're called the Anaheim Ducks. So
any way to get that branding, huh?
Right. And that's a great place to watch a game too. So they do their job here in LA baseball. Love going to Dodger games. Dodger dogs suck. They're disgusting.
Really? I heard that was the shit. Not the case.
No, not the case at all. And I did some investigation. I investigated a little bit because I had it. And I was with a guy who was a fan, they were his tickets. And I looked at him like, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, this is the worst fucking hot dog I've ever had in my life.
You'll rather have a Nathan's back at home or something.
Oh, 100%. Hebrew National, dog. Like,
Hebrew
whatever.
National, yeah.
Nathan's, whatever. He's like, yeah, so a lot of people don't realize this, but the ingredients got changed. And the recipe changed. And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah. He's like 2-3 years ago, it was unbelievable. Like, you couldn't even get one. Now, like, they're giving him out for free. So they changed the recipe on it, and that's really what it was. And it's disgusting. Like, I can't even describe it. I mean, like, it just doesn't taste like a hot dog. It tastes, it tasted like gray matter. That's the best way to describe it.
And everyone, what is probably they want to blame budget cuts or something, and
$9, by the way.
And still,
$9, Maddie. $9
for some shit. How much is a beer there?
Okay, so it's like a 24-ounce one.
Like a true tall boy.
Yeah. I want to say like $11 depending on what it is. Like, for
it's still the same thing over here.
Yeah. Modelo's are big out here. So
I love
that's
like
Modelo. Modelo's are so good.
I'll take that over Corona.
Yeah, for sure. Modelo. So I think you could get like one for like $12 or something like that. But they stopped selling them at like the 5th inning or something like that.
Oh,
so I'm like, I was the 7th.
Yeah.
You got to realize a lot of people do drive out here compared to the home, and I mean, you got to drive everywhere here unless you take the bus. You can take the bus, but you got to go downtown, and that's a whole situation. If you're not familiar with downtown, you're not from there. Downtown LA. Yeah. But I got love for DTLA. Like, it kind of reminds me of the East Coast a little bit when you look up, like, the buildings are bigger and stuff like that. But you go to the wrong side of DTLA, and all of a sudden you're in Skid Row. And people, I think, from the East Coast think Skid Row is like just a street in LA or something like that. It's like a 6.5 block radius.
Okay, so it's a legit neighborhood.
It's a legit neighborhood of just abandoned wasteland. Like, it's terrible. It's really, really sad, honestly. But like, it's really frightening if you've never really seen it, especially at night. And I used to work out in downtown Los Angeles a little bit more when I lived closer to the east side. And my gym was right near Skid Row, that type of deal. But I know the drill, right? Like, do not go past this mark because you'll be there. And the amount of people you just see who are like, okay, that person is no doubt from Ohio. And they're like, oh, Disneyland's like 20 minutes away. And like, oh, this hotel was like only $100 a night. And you just see on their faces like, where am I right now? Like, this isn't normal. I am not in Columbus, Ohio. They're just like, bro, you got directions. Like, just go west. Just pay the extra like $300 a night because it's crazy here. But they're trying to clean it up as much as possible. But yeah, you get caught there. It's rough, man.
You really do have to fake it till you make it sometimes.
A little bit.
Yo, I want to go to some quick things on football. Then I have some other fun topics to mess around with. All right, so remember, as we're recording, it is released a week later, but New York Football Giants right now. 2016 was a long time ago since our last winning season, and we made the playoffs. Ben McAdoo was the coach in Eli. Since then, we've had McAdoo get fired. Spags comes in, but he goes to Kansas City.
Right.
And you got, and then you have, why am I blanking? Before Joe Judge and in between.
It.
And came from Denver.
Shermer.
Yes, Pat Shermer.
Yep.
He was a failed experiment.
Right.
Then the Joe Judge disaster. Gettleman doesn't hold it down. I understand he had health problems at the same time, but the last 5 years was a true tornado. But and after another disappointing season, we have the Mariners coming, picking Joe Shane and Brian Daboll's combination. And since then, 2-0. 2-0 still matters. Sure, people want to say, oh, these were lucky games, Bullock makes the field goal, whatever. But you know what? You see a personnel who knows what they're doing. They don't care if Kenny Golladay has this big contract. He's not getting stats because he can't catch the ball, run the right routes, putting these rookies in. And you know what? You're putting a great thing on the field. Offensive lines improve, especially Andrew Thomas. You could even argue he's one of the best offensive linemen in the entire league.
Right.
And pass rush is still holding it down, even with Aziz being hurt. Kevon Thibodeau hasn't even hit the field yet.
Yep.
so much to be excited about. Tay Crowder's looking, he's looking like he's holding it down. There's a lot of things to be excited about with the Giants. And also with the help of the Dallas Cowboys in their crisis, Commanders after week 1 said maybe, but then, after getting smacked by Jacksonville, maybe we know what they actually are. Then you just have the Eagles to worry about, maybe early, but, the NFL is the one sport that anything's up for grabs. And you got to be excited as a loyal Giant fan you are, Danny, that maybe 100%. Brian Daboll has something together. And all we ask is just be competitive throughout the season. And we know what that can lead to.
Right. I think the Giants definitely have proven in the last 2 weeks that they can compete and they could play in the mud, and they're not going to put consistent offensive 2 drives together that one isn't going to work out and the other one's not going to work out as well. If you watch in the last 3 or 4 years of Giants football, is they'll start hot and then for 4 or 5 drives, they'll get absolutely nothing. That hasn't happened this year. They have pretty much scored on I want to say 70% of their drives, which is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, especially with Graham Gano, probably the most underrated kicker in the entire league. He's been almost automatic for us.
I mean, he won me my fantasy yesterday, straight up, 19 points.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. So and that comes down right to mentality from the head coach that the players have completely bought into.
Thank God.
I think, football, luck does go a pretty long way. Because if you look at how the Giants have lost multiple games in the last 5 years, it was straight up bad luck, right?
Sometimes the ball just doesn't flow in your way. Graham
Gano 2019 when he hit that 60-pluser in
Carolina against us.
Right. Dexter Lawrence supposedly lining up offsides.
Oh yeah, against Washington in week 2 last year.
That's bad luck.
He's been looking great so far.
Really good. And just to go back to Dave Gettleman, listen, yeah, he made some pretty bad mistakes, right? But he also made a lot of good choices that people just will refuse to give him credit for.
Like I said, look at Andrew Thomas.
Andrew Thomas has worked out. Saquon Barkley, for the most part, has worked out. Aziz was a Gettleman pick, right?
Yep.
I'm trying to think of a couple other players that the Bradbury stuff, for what it was when Bradbury was with us, he was a pretty decent player.
And he's been doing pretty good in Philly right now.
Graham Gano was brought over because of Gettleman. Yeah. So, there's a bunch of things that Gettleman did do, but when you give Nate Soldier a contract to make him the highest paid offensive lineman, and then he sits out a year, granted his kid was sick, and I get it.
Yeah.
But we all kind of just knew he wasn't going to be the same type of player that he was.
Nope. Wasn't the Patriot that he
No, he never was. Also, Pac-12, Colorado Buff. But yeah, so but I always talk to Giant fans about this too. A lot of the Giants' issues kind of stem back to after the Super Bowl in 2011, when they made Eli Manning the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. In my opinion, they probably should have let him go. Or not give him that amount of money, and took a chance on someone else. Eli was just never the same player that he was after the Super Bowl, even though when they went to the playoffs with McAdoo and then the Miami boat trip pick and all that type of stuff.
Oh, it's crazy how much everyone likes to bring that up.
I know.
And then also the end of Coughlin's great career really did end on a whimper.
Yeah, let's be real. If you, I think what year did Eli retire? 17 or 18?
19, actually.
19, was it 19? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the Miami game. They won that game for Eli.
Oh yeah, when they finally brought him back, and that's obviously the fatal mistake that McAdoo was benching Eli. But the problem was when you put Geno Smith, who didn't improve himself, and at the time was Davis Webb. You could have experimented with a new quarterback. That was his downfall. So far, it's not looking good in Carolina for him, but as an offensive coordinator. But looking historically, maybe we let Eli on the leash.
A lot. And I love Eli. I love Eli. He's won us 2 Super Bowls. That guy
Of course.
is the man. And, but I'm sorry, from a statistical standpoint, they probably should have let him go and let him test the market and say, hey, you want to get that money, get it somewhere else, because you're going to mess this up for the next 10 years, which it did. They had no money to pay absolutely anyone in free agency. The most money they've given to anyone is Leonard Williams. That's who we've been paying. I mean, Kenny Galladay, in theory, I understood the deal, but it just hasn't worked out. His trade value is diminished. I mean, if you can maybe get a 4th or 5th rounder for him, I would think about it. Kadarius Toney.
That was the real bummer. We were about to pick Devontae Smith, but he hasn't really looked good in his NFL career so far.
Yeah, Devontae's looked okay, but just going back to Eli, and I love Eli, and I think a lot of Giant fans just don't want to admit this, but we should have let him go after the 2011 season when they won the Super Bowl.
Clearly. Name all the quarterbacks that we passed on. And, McAdoo apparently wanted Patrick Mahomes early on.
Patrick Mahomes. You know what
Imagine
I mean?
if we had him.
So sometimes loyalty with the Giants really comes to bite them in the ass. And that's just not how the modern NFL is anymore. So yeah, I think a lot of the issues just kind of stem back to that and what could have happened from a financial standpoint if he didn't give Eli all that money to play mediocre and take us to the playoffs once.
And lost in Green Bay.
That. So, that's really what it comes down to. But all love for Eli. You deserve everything you get, dog. You figured it out.
Really. And he's doing great on TV. Love the Manning cast. I don't know if you saw that he dressed up as some dude named Chad to try to walk on at Chad
Power.
Chad Powers.
I know. Eli has really figured it out when it comes to taking advantage of being in New York.
Really?
Aaron Judge. Look at that man and look what he's done. I mean, Eli Manning was this awkward kid from Mississippi who had rich parents and was kind of the butt of jokes for years. And now he's the coolest guy in New York.
Clearly.
Everywhere Eli
to Coogene and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, Eli is Eli. Don't get me wrong. And the thing is about this, right? Let's go back. Eli, if they traded or if they didn't re-sign Eli or anything like that, guess what? The only place in the world that Eli Manning could become Eli Manning and do the shit that Eli Manning is doing is because he's in New York City. That's the only reason why. You can't even do that stuff if you're in LA, right? Mm-hmm. There are too many way cool people here who want nothing to do with sports.
Right.
Who are doing all that other shit, right?
I don't see Matt Stafford making a or Jared Goff when he's around.
He's the pizza thing right now, which is great. I love. But other than that, I mean, listen, we got TikTokers out here. We got bloggers out here. Eli can't do that in Jacksonville or San Francisco or Philadelphia.
No,
you can only do it in New York City. So going back kind of full circle, to Aaron Judge, when you're done playing, these fans will still pay for your content. They'll still be obsessed with you. I don't know if you're getting that in San Francisco. Take a page out of Eli Manning, bro. Take it out. But sorry, Eli, you should have been gone in 2011.
I won't deny that, especially history has proven that. And, well, it's been a long decade of learning lessons and pushing through and all that. But at the end, team looks good. Personnel looks awesome. The schedule is in our advantage. And let's enjoy some more Giant football, baby. Just a few more NFL things. This is random. I'm just curious, Danny. What do you think of Aaron Rodgers, the person, after his crazy offseason? He's clearly on every podcast I could think of. And, bounce back against the Bears doing Aaron Rodgers things. He usually takes the first week off, it seems. But reigning MVP, it's definitely I feel the most talked about quarterback in the league on a general sphere. And he's just one interesting nut to crack. I'm just curious, what do you think about him, Danny?
Yeah, another Pac-12 guy. Cal Bear, bro. Cal Bear. I like media personalities like him. I like people who are not going to be the same normal. He's opinionated and he has every right to.
I love that.
A funny guy. He knows how to troll. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, listen, he's bored. He's in Green Bay. Wouldn't you be bored? Okay. Like, just imagine if Aaron was in New York.
Oh my God. And some people thought for a hot second, is it possible? But anyways,
but I love it. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's refreshing. I think a lot of the times that the public and fans think these guys are just robots. Like Daniel Jones is a robot to me.
Oh yeah. You don't even know where he goes to lunch. I mean,
no, like he's just a quiet guy and that's fine and everything like that. I'm not saying that, but like just a little personality. I know he's not like that behind closed doors. I know for a fact Daniel Jones cannot be like that. He's no way. You're the quarterback of the New York Giants. You cannot have that personality. But what I love about Aaron, I don't necessarily agree with everything that he says. Mm-hmm. Some things that he has said have been technically dangerous to society, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he's always apologized for it. He's always like kind of just like gotten back into the likings of most people. But I'm about people being outspoken, and he's clearly himself. And I think that's great. He's not afraid to hide it.
He wouldn't have been voted MVP if people really hated him or if he really was off the wall. He's just, like you said, an opinionated guy who we beg for in these athletes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he's cool, but he does the commercials, but you don't really feel like you know the guy.
No. Okay, let me ask you this. Would you rather hang out with Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson?
Aaron Rodgers for sure. First of all, Russell Wilson would give me a headache. I'd probably tell him shut the fuck up.
I would
stop being corny, but
I would just be like Russell, hi, like this can't be you, man. Like there's something going on. Someone knows something about you, and you did something really, really bad. Now, what was it? Like that's what it comes down to. And maybe I can be completely wrong, and maybe this is just how it is. Some of these quarterbacks, man, are literally wired completely different than what me and you think. But I'm sorry, man. Like I played football with a guy who reminds me a little bit of Russell.
Yeah.
And in the sense of just like when we were playing, and I love the guy too. I love him. He's my dude. But we were playing, and like all of a sudden, like if we were getting our ass kicked or we were in a close game, you just hear like, "Come on, guys! Like, dig in and find it in your heart and soul to pull it out." And I'll just be like, "Yo, I got like a 6'1", 275-pound kid across from me from Philadelphia who's pissed as fuck that he's playing D3 football. That's the last thing I need to hear right now."
Yeah, right.
Only imagine if you were playing in a game and Russell came up and was like, like
believe in yourself. This isn't hard enough.
Family and football, all things are a part of my life. I'd just be like, bro, get out of here. I don't care if your wife is Sierra. Like this beat.
She hasn't had a hit in like 20 years.
This beat is awkward. Like that's really what it would come down to. But so Aaron Rodgers, I mean, listen, man, I deal with a lot of people from Berkeley and stuff like that. They're just free thinkers up there. And that's how it goes. I love the Bears. They had a rough one this weekend against Notre Dame. Unfortunately, I don't know if you saw the worst offside call of all.
I actually did see, because there's a local kid from New Canaan High who came in the backup quarter, blanking on his name too. But I did have to say that. Yeah. Drew Pike. He's from New Canaan, Connecticut. So yeah, he played against my brother. So look at that. And I saw the offensive coordinator Brees just ripping into him. But hey, he won the game for them. But
did you go to the public high school or that private school in New
Public high school, New Canaan High. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Isn't there a big time school called Kings something out in New Canaan? Maybe
there was Xavier High School who that's a bit upstate, but not ringing a bell, but I'm sure brother knows. I can ask him about that. But
yeah, no, it was one of the worst calls I've ever seen. And I'm a Pac-12 homer. I will straight up say that I root for every single Pac-12 school every single week, right? But I just don't know what they saw and like how that's not reviewable. Like to be like, we were wrong on that one. There wasn't anyone clearly offsides. And that's where I get a little sketched out when it comes to Notre Dame, right? And how dangerous they are if they're going to join a conference, because they have that MVP money. And listen, I'm sure NBC officials were freaking out. If we lose to Cal and we're 0-3, how do we have anyone paying attention to our games and going,
who's going to care?
There has to be something there. And I never try blaming the referees or anything like that. But for this one, Maddie, I am just straight up confused. Like something sketchy happened there. They lost by a touchdown. That doesn't happen. They don't.
Was that the spread exactly? And they tried. No, I was going to say, like, it's such a dumb argument. I mean, but when people are talking about with wagering now and how much does that really affect what the refs are doing, we don't want a Tim Donaghy situation. No. Do you think there's anything to that, though?
Unfortunately, we won't find out for 10 years. You know,
and a big tell-all book.
Yeah, you know, there's gonna be a whistleblower or stuff like that. Do I think there's a good chance? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, let's not pretend that the mob isn't running DraftKings. like, let's not pretend like the mob doesn't have their hand in every single legal betting state that, you know, has been happening for how long has it been legal for? The last like 5 years?
Yeah, it's only been about 5 years. I think 2018 was when the ruling for Jersey started it all.
Right. You know, let's not pretend like they're not involved. Let's not. You know, they're massive companies. I mean, I've been seeing for days just watching sports for the last weekend, right? Like Prop 27 or something like that out here in California. They're trying to legalize gambling so fast.
Is it legal yet in your state? No, it's not, huh?
Not legal here. It is not legal here. And I don't necessarily mind it. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I still love looking at the numbers.
Of course.
And, you know, I would never do it offshore or anything like that. But there's ways that you can if you do fancy that. But, you know,
Mad Dog said the fat guy in Rapid.
Right. But like the thing is, like, man, like I don't like necessarily like care that much to do it. Like when I go home to New Jersey and stuff like that, it's kind of a treat to be like, oh, how much did I have in my DraftKings account? And let me just try to like double
Surprise.
Yeah. So to me, it doesn't necessarily matter. But yeah, I mean, to go back to your original question, yeah, there has to be something funny going on with all this type of stuff. Like history, what has history told us? It's like the 1930s when it came to the Black Sox. Like there's always going to be people scheming and money and betting and
for sure.
Always. So yeah. There's within 15 years, we'll have some weird ESPN 30 for 30 that's gonna be on some strange app that you're gonna have to pay with like milk in order to get, because that would be like the only thing valuable left on Earth because of due to global warming that is like a money purchase. You're gonna be paying milk, and you'll be able to like watch this like weird documentary about how betting was screwed up in like 2019.
Dude, I think it all started with the NFC Championship, Rams and Saints. When you just see what was his name, Roby Williams, just pretty much headbutt the Saints receiver, not call in a pass interference, and we know what happened there.
Oh man, yeah, that was crazy. That was 2017.
Yeah, 18. And like, wow, how blatant.
I was already in LA. I didn't move here yet, but I was here for the game, and I was like, wow, they're going to the Super Bowl. Like they're going to the fucking Super Bowl. And no one cared. What
a shame.
Like, no one cared. And then they came again. Like, man, yeah. But yeah, I don't know, Maddie. There's probably definitely something sketchy going on with all these numbers. There has to be something weird. I would be shocked if it wasn't.
You know, to stick on the gambling, you told me you were in Las Vegas this weekend. I'm just curious, man. Did we have like the Hangover type of storylines, which you can't or cannot say? Did you make the most of your Vegas weekend?
Yeah, so I've been to Vegas a few times. I love Vegas. It's a good time. But I think East Coasters kind of like create this fantasy about Las Vegas that the second you get there, you're just like, wait, it's not that nice. You kind of show up in the middle of the day. It's already like 96 degrees. There's just fat people everywhere. You don't realize how large the country is until you go to Las Vegas. And
don't they have that heart attack grill? You ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah. They have like 4 or 5 of them.
They give you cigarettes as part of the meal.
Yeah. Something like But it's a cool city, man. It's a cool city. I was there for my boy, Steve Kono, who I work with at Sirius, his bachelor party.
Oh, congratulations, Steve.
Yeah. I came on the last night of it. So they were already kind of like tired out and like, I was like the new young energy coming into it, being like, "What's up, boys?" Like walked into the room expecting them all to be like, "Let's go." And they're like, "Yo, what's your name?" I'm like, I'm Dan. I'm friends with Steve. Like they're like, yeah, we're all fucked up. Like,
yeah, let's go golfing.
Yeah, so I kind of let them like sleep it off. I went down, like walked around Vegas. Also, like, all right, this is fine, whatever. But I always have a good time when I go there. I lost money. I did not make any money. It's very hard to do that.
What's your game of choice? What are you playing out there? You're a big blackjack scene.
Yeah, blackjack guy. I'll throw some money on the roulette table every once in a while. But it's
play some craps.
Scammer city, they everyone tries to be a little quick with you. You really got to watch your wallet. People will pickpocket you. And if you're in the casino for too long, like the idea of like smoke and
right,
casino oxygen,
the casino oxygen.
But I always say if you go for a night, enjoy yourself and then come back home. Like my boy's coming in, he's going to Vegas next weekend, and he's like, "Yo, dude, come out." I'm like, "Dude, I can't. I just can't. Like, I can't make that trip again." And it's not that far. Like,
yeah, I was gonna ask, isn't it like only like 3 hours or something?
Yeah, you could drive it 3.5 hours, or you could just take a quick 45-minute flight.
45-minute flight.
Yeah, it's not that bad and it's not that expensive. But I mean, once you do it, you kind of get it in, you kind of get it out. It's kind of just like going to Wildwood. You see it once, you're like, "Oh, I get it. All right. Now I'm disgusted and I want to just go back home and lay in my bed and shut the lights off." That's
clearly. And I mean, we're still relatively young, but it's getting 30's way closer than 20 at this point.
Yeah, I'm 1 year away, dog.
Yeah, dude, I'm about to follow you in those footsteps.
It hurts.
Are you how do you manage getting there? Do you feel like you have to compete with people? I have to be at this point at my age or whatever. People are getting married, or me neither. Because once you compare yourself like that, you're just a fraud. You're fake. I mean, what's the point of living the best life if you have to compare yourself to who you have on Instagram? And they're just trying to be cooler than they actually are. That's probably one of the best things I've learned over the past couple of years.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, everyone has their time about absolutely everything in their life when it comes to like marriage, being with a partner, making X amount of money, doing well, in your social life. I mean, personally, no, I think at one point in my life, I was thinking about marriage for sure, but like, that's just the way that
things change.
Things change. Right. I the thing about living in LA, which sucks too, is it's like, I get invited to a lot of weddings out here, and I'm like, well, I just want to let you know, bro, like, if I'm gonna come back home, my present to you is me physically being there.
Dude, I have that. I literally have a wedding in 2 weeks where the wedding's in Rochester. That's that's 6 hours away.
Right.
I'm like, bro, we're putting all these things together. I love you. I mean, I've known the guy since I was 5, but I'm really pulling all these strings just to get there.
Right.
So I'm not bringing a date or anything like that. So I know what you mean.
It's like $1,400 just to get home, and that's not even first class. And I love them all too, and I always try to make it work. But it's just like, I mean, shout out to all the homies who've gotten married and stuff like that. I love your wives, like love all that kind of stuff. But it's just like, maybe you don't want to hear this, but like, remember when you went to like bar mitzvahs and shit when you were like 13 and stuff?
Of course.
Okay, once you go to one, you go to all of them. So it's essentially the same thing for a wedding. There's going to be that drunk uncle who you're like, Uncle Jimmy said that again.
Uncle Jimmy. Then you have the weird older people trying to flirt with you, and it's not exactly the fantasy you're hoping for. It's just like a little touching too much. But
I don't want anyone listening to this to, if I went to your wedding and I'm shitting on it, but I've always had a good time at weddings for the most part, but you get a little bored sometimes. But no, I try not to compare myself to anyone, man. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
I listen, I mean, sometimes I'm competitive and being like, oh, that guy's doing pretty well. But the second I start like being like, well, why am I not there? Or I just depress myself. And
Yeah, it'll keep you up at night if you really do that. You all we have is time now. You got to be a racehorse and have your eyes covered and go straight. It's people like you more being your own individual brand and yourself.
That's what I'm talking about, Manny. That's why I love you.
Yeah, man, that's why I love you too, because we know that this life isn't as deep as people make it out to be. And we're just here having fun.
When are you coming out here?
Dude, I want to come here as soon as I get this better job and income. Like is literally a priority because I haven't left this East Coast in way since before the pandemic, and I need some of that fresh air, dude. I need to have true in and out. I need to see those $5 gas prices.
Bruh. Yeah, you want to know something? What I discovered this weekend, actually. And not a lot of people on the East Coast know about this. So In-N-Out Burger, right? It's good. You've had it?
I had one the only time when I was in Vegas. So it's been a whole decade since. So I don't even remember what it tastes like, to be honest.
Okay. It's okay. It's not bad. It's okay. It's good.
Shake Shack better?
A little.
Okay.
A little.
You were saying no?
There's another spot in California which is 10 times better than In-N-Out. And this is a hot take because the second you say this in California, like, and if you're actually from California, and you say this to someone who likes In-N-Out, they're gonna want to kick you in the face. But it's called
offended.
It's called Baker Burgers, and
Baker Burgers.
They're more located towards like Eastern California, San Bernardino area, towards the quote unquote high desert is what we call it out here. But it is the best burger, the best fast food burger I've ever had in my entire life.
Okay.
Knocked the lights out of In-N-Out, Five Guys, Wendy, anything I've ever had. I had it coming back from Vegas pretty hungover, so maybe that helped out to it. But I had to go back and get another one, Maddie. And listen, bro, I've been good on my diet. I've been a good boy on this.
Yeah, you're looking great, bro. You gotta say that, man. You really glowing up as per usual.
But I mean, I have been really on my diet, and that's all I say to everyone who wants to lose weight. Just be consistent with your diet. It doesn't matter if you put in a lousy 20 minutes at the gym. Just eat healthy. If you eat healthy, you will feel better. But you eat. I had to go back in the drive-through. I was
YOLO, dude. I'm looking at some pictures now, and I could see why with the little blue and red.
And I pull up to the window, and she's like, "Sir, did we forget something?" And I was like, "No, I just need another one." So good.
There's this place called Garden Catering. That's a local joint in my hometown. They have a few in Westchester, a few in Fairfield County. And it's the very best nuggets I'll ever have in my life. Whoa. And me and my roommate.
Nuggets or fingers? Nuggets or fingers?
True nuggets. The guys like there.
Okay.
And I was the same way. I remember we just destroyed the special, they call them. It's just a pound of fries and wings. And I asked for the cones combination. If they're like fried mashed potato cones pretty much, or wedges. Okay. And just I had to go back. It's just too damn good. And I've literally witnessed. It was like my go-to high school spot, and it literally doubled it. Not double. So it used to be the standard was $7. Now it's $12. It is worth every penny, but still, like, it's euphoric, bro. Garden Catering. I will like freeze them and send them over when I come out. It's that incredible.
Yeah, I love a good chicken finger, man. I love a good chicken finger. I'm somewhat dating a vegetarian right now, the first time I've ever done that. And
really,
yeah, and it's been fine. Like, it's chilled, like, for the most part. But I have the one thing that I have converted to, that if I have at home, and I love chicken fingers, I love chicken nuggets, I consider myself an expert. The one thing that they have figured out, scientists and food experts have figured out, are the chicken nugget. They have, or the chicken finger. Gardein has a great product. a couple other ones have, I think something's 5 stars, something like that. They have figured out and mastered what it takes to create an unbelievable tasting meat-free chicken finger. And
really? So these true vegan options, and forget all the people like to roast vegans and stuff. And this is where it's at.
It's legitimately good.
What is it, like cauliflower or something? Or
I don't even know.
Impossible meat?
I have no idea. I'm not a big fan of the Impossible stuff, but like they have figured it out, man. And it's really easy to convert to just to do it. I'm a big air fryer type of guy.
Oh, I've been air fry. You know, my roommate's devil girlfriend, the one thing she gave us because her best friend didn't accept this Christmas gift, we took the air fryer anyways. That's really a game changer.
That might be the most millennial sentence you've ever said in your life.
Oh, her best friend didn't accept the air fryer, so we took it anyways. With her devil girlfriend. Oh my goodness.
The devil girlfriend who didn't accept an air fryer for Christmas, but we took it anyways. I'll say this straight up. The air fryer is the best thing to ever happen to the male single over 25.
You're damn right, bro. I could get my whole dinner in 11 minutes.
Boom, boom, boom. Easy cleanup.
Easy cleanup. Get if you're feeling a little lazy, put your tinfoil in. Bada bing, bada boom.
Throw some oil on top of it. Bang. Come on.
Winners. You're just winning. Oh man, the air fryer.
Love it.
Dude. I mean, yeah, and so I'm still out here seeing who I can meet on my dating life. Usually what I've literally not talking to a single person at the moment, but that's one thing I've been. Well, at the moment I've just been so busy. I've been switching it to getting a better job because the one I got hired with in the spring was a big surprise. It didn't turn out to what I expected.
Yeah.
Long story short, I said it was going to be a full-time job. Then it became a part-time job. Then it became less part-time, 3 days a week to 2 days a week. And with the rise of cost of living, it was just impossible to keep up. Mm-hmm. So when I was said to one person, when I was more honest about like dating, it's like, hey, so yeah, I've been working Uber, and I see the horror in their face, like whatever, it really doesn't matter. And so I was just like, okay, I remember I was dating this girl briefly for a couple weeks, right? And she expected me to pay for everything. And I was like, yeah, you're literally too expensive to hang out with. And I was trying to be honest, trying to get a good point, but she just wasn't for it. I was like, oh, well, fine. You're adding more stories to me. It's so much easier for me dating. Like when someone's not interested or I'm not interested, it's so much easier to move on. That's the one thing. It's been fun. I'm like Jerry Seinfeld in Seinfeld, the show.
Well, I personally, I think if you are turned on or you only go out with people for what they do for a living, then I think you have a lot on your side of the ball than you think. Money is green no matter how you get it. If you Uber or if you drive a limo or you work in the stock market, guess what? The money or everything in your account is green. So who cares? I mean, I literally would date.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I have fallen in love with girls at Wendy's. Like I have. I'm like, I don't know if it's like that's
like me falling in love with girls at McDonald's.
Right. Like I have. And I have like struggled with, because I've gotten so used to online dating and stuff like that. Like I have struggled with the interperson. Hey, I'm Dan, like all that type of stuff. And I'm not on the apps or anything like that. I do have a girl that I'm talking to for a couple months, so I haven't done it in a while. But I met her online.
She's a real lucky lady.
I met her online. But like I've gotten so used to online dating where I am like, honestly, I don't know if it's necessarily if I'm afraid or it's like the creepy factor of like, I don't want to creep people out. Like I always like, I know I'm not the type of guy I would never like disrespectfully walk up to a girl and say like, like whatever, a corny, cheesy line or anything like that. But I don't know. I also think I'm afraid of rejection completely. Like, I think I'm just like, if it does happen, I don't know if I could show my face again here. Like, God, it would be terrible. Like, So yeah, I just gotten so used to online dating, but it is harder to judge people off of online because
that is a problem. You don't know who you're talking to. The amount of people who switched up from who I've met initially to finally meeting him in person, it's a letdown sometimes, especially low key catfishing in the sense that like, wow, you are nothing what you look like in your pictures. You don't hit those angles.
Listen, I always say to anyone, if you're going to go on a date with someone from online, Monte got catfish so we could all go online and date.
Made the sacrifice.
Yes, never go on a date with anyone online that you haven't FaceTime with.
Yeah.
FaceTime first. If you can't show a FaceTime, then you cannot show an actual face in person. Like,
seriously.
Like, first off, you're going to get one thing that is so important. It has nothing to do with the person looks like. It's what they sound like. Because you could read texts, you could read Instagrams, all that type of stuff, because that voice in your head of what that person's saying to you is your voice, not theirs. So you got to get that sense of sound and how someone sounds, what their dialogue sounds like, what their inflection is. All that stuff is so important when it comes to the world of dating. And you just have to get it in there first before you meet in person, because the second you meet in person and you think this person sounds like this and they actually sound like this, you're like, oh, I'm turned off. Doesn't matter what you look like anymore, what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Like that. Get that FaceTime in. Don't get catfished. Don't show up to a date that you're not going to already know that it's going to be successful or not. Like, go into those dates knowing like at the end of it, there's a over 50% chance that I'm going to see this person again. Because if you go into a date where you're like, maybe it's under 50% chance, why take that risk? Why even waste your time? Why even waste your hard-earned money, man?
I've been better at fitting those out, not going as many dates as I used to, only ones that I know I have a good shot. And I have, for the most part, done, if not FaceTime, at least doing voice messages. And if somebody really likes you, they will go out of their way to make it work. So why do I have to waste my time? And it's just funny at this point. Like, that's the extra stories you get. And I know I'm a catch. I know I have good stuff going. So the person, I met somebody, I was saying, I do this show and I'll never forget. And I can't wait when this really, really becomes something successful. And she said, you have to question when a man says he does a podcast. And I just unadded her because, like, how am I going to win you over if you already going to look me down like that? So,
yeah. Like I said, man, just some people are terrible and learn that out real fast online. But, you're a smart guy, Maddie. You're a smart guy and just pick the right one, man.
Appreciate it, man. And we're just having some fun out here, and it's going to happen when it's meant to be. So, why do I have to be stressed about it? Just a few more things, man. I have this cool, I've come up with just some general topics. What are some funny lies and excuses, whether you said it to somebody or someone said to you, like when you said to someone together, dinner was great, when it really wasn't. Let's keep in touch. You didn't respond. My phone died. These excuses some of these people come up with, especially online, it's pretty
Are you saying excuses that I've given out or like received?
Either or. Like, I remember somebody didn't come. I had this high school, no, it was some graduation party. I was at some party and I know they blatantly lied and said that their deck caught on fire. I was like, man, am I that lame that you have to say that? Like, that's pretty, extreme.
Yeah.
Like you said, people suck.
I'm trying to think. Okay, one thing that comes to mind, this has to be like, I don't know, maybe a year ago. I meet this girl online. Everything's going cool. I did the FaceTime thing with her. Honestly, thought the vibes would be fine.
Yeah.
You show up to the date, like within like the first 2 minutes of chatting, I could just tell, like, no, you're just like two completely different people. Like,
you really do find out in the first 5 minutes if this is worth anything.
It had nothing to do with like the conversation or anything like that. It was just a visual thing. We both just wouldn't work together. Like, that's really what it came down to. And honestly, I saw this person more as a friend, like for real. And you could tell that within there. And then, she goes to the bathroom and you're just like, oh, God. I'm just like thinking like, all right, whatever, like get through it. Just, she comes back out and like, you could just tell when people are lying. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, today's the 13th, right? I think
today's the 10th.
She's like, my friend just got into LAX and I forgot about it. I gotta I gotta go. And just leaves, just like straight up goes, like takes off.
What the hell?
And I really wasn't like, I knew where this was going. So maybe she just kind of saved the pain, but I was like, oh my God, you need to go now. Go.
Leave.
Like, you're late already. Like you're 50 minutes from LAX. Like, just go. I'll get the bill. She's like, oh, Dan, I already paid for it. I was like, all right, peace.
Dude, I love when you like, okay, this person's trying to undermine me. You got to give that sass back sometimes. Yeah. Like you ain't pulling this.
You paid for it? She's like, yeah. And like, this was like my bar that I used to go to all the time. And like I was homies ever. I was like, like this is cost me nothing. So I was like, you're the best. Like they were like,
see you later. We'll have a handshake. You might as well handshake goodbye at that point.
And then like later that night, she was like, hey, just want to let you know, I don't think it's gonna work out. It's like, yo, you paid for my drink. Like, you're good, girl.
Okay. Thanks for giving me some fresh air.
Yeah. But she was a cool chick. I like I said, I would have seen her as a friend, but that's the only time where I could like legitimately tell, like, oh my God, like she's just not interested and she's completely lying.
Yeah. I remember one time similar at the beach during the COVID year. I just met with someone and like, man, this person was pretty cute, but it was not meshing. And I remember she said something like, I have to go to bed early. And it was like 5 p.m. I was like, it's okay. I'm going to go too. Like, this is bye.
Too. Especially, yeah, I'm on Korea time right now. So.
I swear one of these days, I'm going to just be like, you know what? I'm no longer interested in this exchange.
I am being an honest male adult.
Yeah.
I do not like you.
I don't like you. And my mind has changed. I'll be, tell that in your group chat later.
Exactly. But shout out to all the ladies out there dating online. Just take a chance with some nice guys.
Of course.
Like I would say there are more nice guys out there than there are mean guys. So,
Yeah. We're not all the trending stories that people like to make on Twitter and stuff. There's some really nasty stuff and weird and like, oh my goodness, but it's gonna be okay, people. It's gonna be okay. And I was also just wondering, Danny, what are some of life's other low-key, emphasize the low-key simple pleasures? Like an empty seat next to you on a train or a bus or an airplane, or parking illegally and not getting a ticket.
Ooh.
What are some of the low-key special life simple pleasures out there?
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so you said the train thing, right? That's no doubt one of them, and you could apply that to like a plane, right? If you're going on like a 6-hour flight home from LA to New York, and you got that row open to you, and you can put your legs up, and
yes,
like that's unbelievable too.
One thing, like when you order something, you get a little more than what you ordered.
Yeah. Every once in a while, like if you get like Postmates, you get the wrong order and you get like a lot of extra food that you didn't pay for or anything like that.
Oh, yes.
That's a good one. That's a fun surprise. Shout out to my Jewish mom, Judy Lynch. Every once in a while, you'll just get blessed with that random Venmo. Like,
shouts to Judy.
Okay, I was running a little low too. Maybe you just needed it, and like you'll just see like some money in your Venmo account. And you're like, yo, mom, I still love you, but I'm a 29-year-old man. Please stop sending me money. But
I will use this responsibly.
Right? Yes. Man, I would say something on the lines of that. Also, sometimes like when you're coming into work and there's free food at work.
Oh yeah.
that good bagel.
Especially the breakfast. Ooh.
Yeah, they had we had John Hamm in this morning for Stern.
Yeah, I heard the first half an hour so far, which is great.
But I came on the tail end of it. They seemed like they wrapped everything up, and there was just a spread of bagels out, bro.
People always talk about the New York bagels being special. Do they have their own little twist in Los Angeles, or are they just like any other bagel?
No, they suck compared to
okay then.
I mean, everyone's gonna be like, oh, like you could go to this spot. No, trash.
The Wonders bagels.
Oh, Wonders bagels.
Mm-hmm.
Very underrated New Jersey bagel.
That's one thing I fell in love with.
Cheese in Jersey City is like no other. Wonder Bagels is really, really good. No, the bagels out here absolutely suck. The pizza out here absolutely sucks. The only good thing out here is the Korean food and the Mexican food.
I love the Mexican food.
I don't really eat sushi. I eat veggie sushi. I like it. That's fine. The ramen out here is delicious. The Thai food is a lot better than the East Coast.
Oh, did you ever have Ruby Thai in New Jersey?
Oh,
they're like big in the malls. They're
Thai.
Just so much meat and so much lo mein.
Okay. But the Thai food out here is way better. Chinese food is a bit of a different style. They're chow mein instead of lo mein style, which is New York, which I didn't even realize was a thing.
Yeah, me neither. I only started eating Chinese food this year. I made it till 27 with that
brown.
In a few ways. I never got into Chinese food. I just
never got the Chinese food, dog. If I was living in Connecticut or the East Coast, I'd be eating Chinese food every single day, dude. Oh.
When I went to the Chinese places, I would get the chicken wings there.
You're that guy? You're that guy, Matt?
Not anymore. I've been opening my cuisine.
Okay.
Not eating like a 12-year-old anymore. So
no, I feel you. But no, yeah. So the bagels I hear suck. The pizza, I mean, you can find a couple spots that are like okay, but nothing great.
I was wondering, what are some of the Jersey City pizza spots you like? Like I love Steak. That's a real winner.
Oh yeah. I've only had that place once and it was good.
Tony Baloney's.
They have all the pizzas, right? The taco pizza you can get. Yeah, that place is good. I used to order from there a lot too. Two Boots.
Two Boots, yeah. Get off the train and get your 2 slices there.
Good. And there were some local places right on Communipod that I used to go to. They just had generic like Joe's Pizza or whatever.
Joe's Pizza.
Yeah, they were banging too. But I think those are the best slices. But I'll say a hot take. The best pizza in New York City is the $1.99 or the 99-cent pizza.
I definitely agree with you, especially like the Two Bros pizza. There's Two Boots and Two Bros dollar slice. The only thing, one time I had 99-cent pizza slice and it was exactly what I paid for. I got really sick. I got food poisoning. Right. But
the risk
that could happen anywhere. Go to the bread. Like Two Bros, you're not gonna fall through. And that's the one thing so far that you can still find 99-cent slices for now. They haven't they've upped everything else. MTA's gonna do, hear this, Danny.
What?
They're just about to pass a new law for MTA prices where if you go through the Lincoln and Holland Tunnel, adding congestion prices, $16 would turn to $23. They're fighting it right now, people protesting, but they really want to add more to our tolls.
So what why?
I mean, just the MTA being greedy.
Congestion in the sense of like, if you're going in and it's considered congested, you pay extra amount of money, or like on top of it. It's
on top of it. That'll be the flat rate. It'll go up $7. Already cost $16 to go through the Holland and Lincoln. They want to put it to $23, and they add congestion price, and that's the answer. $23.
Okay, but what is that going towards? What is that going to? Building a new tunnel,
you would think,
right?
I mean, that's what they claim, but who knows with these?
I don't know. I saw something like years ago that said like every single day that New York City and New Jersey doesn't build a new tunnel, it costs the city X amount of $1 million a day.
Where are you gonna put it?
I don't know. Maybe from White Plains into the opposite side of the Bronx.
That's still a distance too.
It doesn't help New Jersey. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people don't realize this too, but like, when people are taking NJ Transit in from New Jersey into Manhattan in the winter time, every single time a train comes through, one what's it called, train with like people who clean the tunnels and stuff up, has to go through to knock off all of the ice, the cargo train, to knock off all of the icicles in there, because God forbid a train goes through it and there's an icicle hanging, it could collapse the entire tunnel. It hasn't been worked on in like 115 years. So what's going on in our Mecca, the city that we both love and so hard? It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Eric Adams, I think so far in his first 6 months, people pretty polarizing against him. Crime's still up. But we are seeing a lot of construction all over the place. I mean, Disney's pretty much taken over Soho, Disney and Google, and
really
they're making all these huge corporate buildings. And it's everyone, this is pretty much this new true post-pandemic New York City world, but people are just still trying to figure out. But you still have your tradition. San Gennaro's happening still.
There you go.
So of course you celebrate that. Of course, the fest. Hudson Yards have been opening some new spots. They're trying to open a casino. That's been the rumor of Hudson Yards. So where they have all those tracks there at the end, where they thought about opening a stadium for the Jets. Who would have thought?
Oh, yeah. Remember that?
Yeah. And now they're thinking maybe a casino. I don't know. These ideas, these proposals.
I mean, I don't know if a casino might be able to work in New York City, but like if I'm going to New York City, the last thing I would ever be thinking about is going to a casino, to be honest.
Go and gamble.
Maybe, but like it would only really be for people who live in Manhattan. Like you're not going to get like people coming in to do that. But
and it's just all these rumors, and that is pulling through. Some people think it's time to make a new Madison Square Garden and put it there. I don't know. We'll see what Dolan wants, but I don't think there's anything to that. They just renovated the place, so why rebuild it?
That's
for
another podcast.
Oh, literally. But New York's just New York, and one thing, just fix the crime first. Did you see that video up in the Upper West Side of this person just getting their car jacked, like GTA style? There's literally two cars fighting through, and this guy just pulls a gun, takes the car. Like, come on. Not that I don't feel threatened. I definitely don't ride the subway at night anymore. I'm willing to just pay the extra for an Uber. My roommate got robbed on the subway on the path.
That's what people say. So unfortunate, man. And like, I always say in LA, like, if you played Grand Theft Auto, like it's essentially like they have such a good job of mirroring what the city is. And
I've always heard that. Like, isn't that funny?
Exactly it. It's like it's kind of crazy how accurate they got it. But like I have so many moments where I'm like, wow, like this is I'm just a Grand Theft Auto character in Los Angeles and Los Santos, driving around, and I'm like, if I had a dirt bike, I could just go up that mountain right there. Like that one part when you're driving on the PCH and like you see like those colorful houses, like that's legitimately there in the game. So like I completely that analogy of like life is just GTA and we're all just like NCPs living in it.
Did you see the GTA 6 leaks?
Yes. It looks unbelievable.
Yeah, right? But damn, I guess a salty employee just let it go. There was one of the leaks had this just chart the plans. Like, I think if the chart's correct, that they were going to announce in this quarter the game being released for 2024 quarter 4. And maybe this guy just ruined the surprise, I guess. I don't know, but I'm not going to say exactly he's a hero or anything. That's pretty messed up all the hard people's work, but it is still interesting.
Always get those whistleblowers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and GTA looks awesome. I mean, GTA 6, if it's anything like these leaks.
Love GTA, man.
That's the one. Just one more thing, Danny, before we wrap things up, or two more things if I can hold you for a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Can I just do three more things and then that's it. Nicely rock and roll. Appreciate you, Danny. Awesome. One, we talked about our dating lives, I want to talk about the fantasy dating life. Who are some of your celebrity crushes, past and present?
I always go with Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz.
Always top of the list. I mean, she's just a fox, and she's
Seriously.
so talented. She seems just like someone who's like really comfortable within their body and their mind and spirit. And I just feel like she's just probably so much fun. I also just think Cameron's a hot name. So we'll start with that.
Right.
Recent like new gen type of people, I'm not really into like the TikToker type of stuff.
Or just like whoever, like throughout your history, if anyone showed up or what.
Yeah, I mean, it's Selena Gomez up there as well. Big Selena fan. I think it's just because like I grew up with her too. So like,
was this a Waverly Place?
Right. So like I was like, oh, I'm in 6th grade and so is Selena.
I have a chance.
And then you want to know hardcore straight up? We're gonna go the original Selena.
Selena, the singer.
Voice of an angel. Just such a great story. Involved her entire family in the band. I just love her. Like Como La Flor is like one of my favorite songs. I don't speak a word of Spanish, but I know every single song. So I'm gonna say she's the top. Selena, original Selena, gone way too soon. An angel.
Yeah.
An angel amongst us when we didn't even realize it. And her story is unbelievable too. So I'm gonna say top fantasy celebrity crush. Sorry, Cameron. Maybe we could talk, but Selena will always have my heart.
I saw she was retired from acting. I think she's gonna make a comeback, or she just got picked another role recently.
Oh, Cameron?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She hasn't really been anything in since like that Teacher.
Yeah, what was it? Bad? Was it called
Bad Teacher thing?
Yeah, literally called Bad Teacher.
Bad Teacher. Yeah.
Some actors need a break sometimes.
So. Hey, there you go. Up and down all around. You know how Hollywood goes.
Definitely. You know who somebody I think this is so talented and more of a puppy dog crush, but I would, really far in respect is Katie Nolan. I think she's you know who she is from.
Katie Nolan. I'm gonna be mad at myself the second I see it.
Yeah, she used to have a show on Fox Sports 1. She does the Apple TV baseball podcast. I think she's just a cool ass girl.
Yeah, I can see, Katie. I mean, maybe I've just seen like so many media people like Katie.
Yeah, right.
Like, for sure. But most of them are really, really sweet people. And I'm sure Katie's awesome. So
definitely.
Michelle Beadle also too.
I love
Michelle Beadle. Michelle, she's awesome.
I love how she just comes at people on Twitter. She doesn't give a fuck.
But I'm not gonna lie to you though. Like, I'm not into girls who like. I don't know if it's because I'm in sports. Like, I don't know if I could ever like go on a date with someone who's like also in sports. Like, I like having that break. I like having. Type of mentality. And then like
I can see that
the sports conversation with someone on a date, I'd just be like, which I have like,
that's happened to me all this. The last girl I seriously dated, that was one of the odd things. We were like talking like bros. I hope her Steelers lose all the time.
It's like this has nothing to do with someone being a female or a male.
Oh yeah, of course not.
Into sports arguments with people who are guys, or I'm just like, dude, what are you talking about?
Like, it's hard to grow a romance to it.
Right. If I'm on a dating situation, I don't want to be like, no, he got traded. He's on the Saints now, but like I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be like, well, excuse me, you're wrong about that. No, I wouldn't do that to a guy necessarily. I wouldn't do that to a girl, but yeah. Yeah.
Like, imagine Mad Dog when he was dating. He probably came as, well, what are you talking about? How do you not know about the 1954 Giants? Best team around.
They're the Hall of Famer, man. Good for him.
Yes, hip with Susan Waldman. Oh man, Mad Dog. Mad Dog's like, he's the one like who has a special place in my heart because my dad's a big Mad Dog fan. Used to work for him, and he's never dull. Moving a First Take, what a great move for him.
He's crushing it there.
Just so damn awesome. Christopher Mad Dog Russo. And he's from lived in New Canaan.
That's right.
So there you go, another New Canaan reference.
New Canaan money, bro.
Yeah, seriously, man. Seriously. What was Yeah, this is a kid, but can't give the Kimberly the pink Power Ranger. I wonder what she looks like now, but
I think
what a
everyone's
scene.
first crush.
Of
Everyone's
course.
crush.
So original, but I don't care. Still something special.
You're so right about that one. So right.
She has to do a commercial, some random commercials, all the Power Rangers, like the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I can see her like at a Tesla commercial.
A Tesla commercial.
Yeah, like the new Pink Ranger. Like that would be sick.
There you go. Like when Meadow Soprano came back with the Super Bowl with AJ, I always thought she was angel.
Like it could be perfect for like, Tesla. Like everyone had their first, right? And like like, oh, that was my first crush, and like maybe it's a cheaper Tesla that everyone could have their first Tesla.
Right.
So, Elon, hit me up, bro. I got ideas, man.
Hey man, you're madman. Yo, what are some dumb things people obsess over? Whether it's TikTok trends or there's some music I just don't get. I don't know if that's just me getting older, but are you people really obsessed over this stuff?
Yeah. I mean, living in LA, I definitely think people are obsessed with just like overall
celebrity culture.
Yeah. And being this person that the industry has necessarily said that you have to be. Dumb things that people obsess over. I mean, I never got into sneakers ever.
Yeah, sneakerheads, me neither.
I get it to a certain extent from the resale value and all that type of shit, but I don't think I could ever wake up and like go hang outside a fucking Foot Locker at 4 a.m. and be like, oh, I got the Jordan 15.
Yo, I see that a lot in Jersey, especially like the Bergen Town Center.
Blues. Like, no, I don't.
Kyrie 11s, Jordan 3s.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing, but people love that shit. I think just getting into any musical act way too much, like Deadheads and stuff like that. It's like, okay, cool. Like, so I would say those two types of things. Sneakerheads I just don't necessarily get, but I do understand the resale value of it in money. And then just like, anyone who's like a super groupie of any movie or band that you've seen X amount of times, it's like, well, what's gonna happen at the next one? Like, I don't know. Like, but I get it. There's also community value towards that. So
of course.
But yeah, no, I like to go see one band and then probably not see them again for like the next like 10 years or so.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. I just you want them at their best, and you don't want to see them be dudding and stuff. Right. What's another thing? Like, I don't get sometimes people who are obsessed with macaroni and cheese, because I don't like macaroni and cheese, and that's
I like it. I'm just not obsessed with it.
Yeah, like some people think it's the most important food of all time.
Nah. I mean, it's good at Christmas. It's good like at Thanksgiving and shit like that. Family barbecue or something like that. But I'm never like, oh, I'm making mac and cheese tonight. This is my special sauce. I only put Frenchie's yellow mustard in it, and like, I mean, no. But my mom makes banging mac and cheese. Shout out to Chicken. No, yeah, mac and cheese, nothing great. Chick-fil-A, I think people are way too high on Chick-fil-A.
Yo, that's funny you say that, because someone told me that like a week ago. Like, I don't get the Chick-fil-A hype. I mean, I agree with you. I like it. I think it's too. Yeah. They don't give you a lot of stuff for the high prices they ask for.
Yeah, I mean, and it all comes down to
lines all over the place.
It always just comes down to lettuce to me, bro. Like if you're not going like that good old Wendy's chunk lettuce, like
Wendy's chunk lettuce.
I know you ever get that like burger from Wendy's, like where it's like 90% lettuce and like the best shit. No, yeah. So no, I'm not too high on Chick-fil-A, but people love it. Sneakerheads, man. Just I think that's really what it comes down to. I don't know. I got Pumas on that I got in New York City one time because I forgot to bring shoes into New York City. I wore sandals to Manhattan.
Wow, you're really LA. That's a really LA move.
Like I couldn't believe I did it too. And the second I was on the path, I like looked at my feet and I was like, I'm in sandals without socks and I'm walking into Manhattan. Like
man, that's tough.
I blame my mom and my dad and my little brother who dropped me off at the train to not just say, hey, Danny, what the fuck are you doing? Like no one stopped me. No one stopped me. It was really bad. But we're here to tell the story.
That's what I'm saying.
Those are good.
You know, now especially with the fall, even though it's only going to be a few weeks, like the fall tradition, and I love the fall as we talked about. You know, but some people they absolutely need to get. They all wear the exact, like girls who wear the exact same fall fit. Dudes who wear the fall fits. It is the leggings, the sweater vest, or the red like turtleneck. Like you all have some originality, bros and ladies.
I miss fall so much. Like there's nothing like October New York City, like October, like 10th in New York City.
Yeah. Get that true.
We're starting to get a little like, oh, it's getting a little chilly, you know what I mean? But like not too bad. But then once November comes around, I'm like, I gotta go back to LA. But that's the one thing, you get so spoiled out here in weather. But man, those like weird couple weeks of like I love July or the beginning of June in the Northeast, and then like that October 10th to like October 20th.
Yeah, pretty much you can even argue till up until Halloween weekend. It's
the Halloween weekend
where it's at.
Exactly.
Oh man, I need to have a good Halloween.
Underrated, man. Underrated.
And then what was it? Lost my train of thought, but I'll get back to. With the fall too, the pumpkin spice lattes, they're fine.
I haven't gone on to the trends. I haven't necessarily. I'm a straight iced black guy, so just that's what I go with. I mean, I've had like the good lattes and stuff like that, but like, I'm pretty much iced and black, bro. Get it down, make it as painful as possible, and then
we staying up for this. Mm-hmm. Oh man, and the last thing I want to ask for now, like who that we haven't mentioned already, just some broadcasters, media personalities, past and present. Who are some people you're really liking right now? Like, I've always loved David Letterman, and especially when I do this show, I'm looking at his body of work, and I feel like he's really didn't go to that status quo, never became a corporate guy, and never afraid of what he's saying. He's like the one host that I really influenced the most in being my own self. Like he just didn't give a fuck. And probably more of that in his NBC years than his CBS. But as legendary as he gets, and like for example, he had this guy we were talking about, the mob, right? He had this born again Christian who was also in the mafia. Writes this book, implies that he did some heinous shit.
Yeah.
But he wanted to focus on talking about being a born again Christian. And he literally just straight up asked him, screw that. We don't want to hear about that. We want to know if you killed people or not. So they're right on the air. And like, I like the host who really isn't afraid to be himself. And as I continue to practice and do more of these shows, that's what I hope I can entail for myself. So
no doubt. There's a couple people that come to mind. Since I work at Sirius, I to be honest with you, I really, when it comes to like podcasts and shows, I only listen to a specific amount because I'm just doing it all day long, where like sometimes it's the last thing I want to do or listen to.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
And I'm in my free time. So like there's only specific couple broadcasters that I love, but one guy who I see every single day and have learned a lot from is a guy named Rodgers from Sirius XM, the wrap-up show, Howard Stern wrap-up show. Rasan.
Yeah. He was great during the summer, during those summer schools ones.
Summer school was doing great on it. And I am lucky enough to work in the same building as him and learn from him and talk to him and get his like sense of like, man, you're really doing it. And he's like, I know. It's like, I was like, how did you get that, bro? And he's like, because I work hard and I don't fuck up.
That's all you need, right?
That's really what broadcasting is, man. Like that's really what it is. It's like, I was here, I put the effort in, and I didn't fuck up when it was time to. And obviously Rasan is very talented and he's very quick, and he doesn't take a lot of shit from anyone. That's why I love him, because he's exactly the same when the microphone is turned off. And you can't fool that. He's the same type of dude that he is off the mic, that he is on the mic, with callers, with guests. with anyone. So I've learned a lot from him. Another guy I'm going to bring up too is Tim Heidecker.
Yeah.
Tim Heidecker from Tim and Eric. He has a great podcast called Office Hours that I love listening to. I think he's a great broadcaster. I think he has a lot of pizzazz. I think he has a lot of gust to him. And he just makes me laugh. So those two guys, I think are really at the top of my game for what I listen to on a personal level. But a guy that like people like always forget about every once in a while, his name will come back up, but I really respect him as a broadcaster. Is Ryan Seacrest. I think Ryan Seacrest is an unbelievable broadcaster when it comes down to radio, television, podcasts, really anything from a production level. He's done great. So I think
communicator, doing awesome with Top 40 still as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, one of the, if you've heard the show, and I always do a pop culture reference of some sort. I did a Casey Kasem one a few weeks ago, and just trying to do my best Casey Kasem impression, but most importantly, he's doing Matt Brown twist.
Yeah,
he's like, you know, we're welcome to you live from Hollywood. We have today's top 40, but first we're going to tell you about, you know, let's learn about this interesting fact from the Rolling Stones or whatever. But
Casey Kasem with the top 10. Yeah. Yeah. But no, I mean, listen, I mean, you know, just working at Sirius, you just walk around and there's so many people who are extremely talented. You just kind of take little things from them and kind of, you know, separate into yourself. But the one thing that you could always say is that anyone broadcasters just be your fucking self. And
definitely,
you know, the second that you're not yourself, your audience will see through it. I think for the longest time, I used to struggle when I was on like Mad Dog back in the day, because I was trying to become this other character that I was just like soft and like a good guy, and and like I would listen back and be like, that's not who I am, man, like at all. Like
you're not playing a character who does that.
No. And you know, I really loosened myself up a little bit on Pac-12 radio. I mean, obviously we can't curse or anything like that, you know, or a PG rated show, but you know, I try to have enough personality where I'm like not going home at the end of the day being like disappointed in what I did for 3 hours that day.
Really you're killing it out there, man. I love seeing your stories, and I tune in when I can. And I mean, you should be very proud of yourself, Danny, and you're only going up from here.
Same with you, Matty boy. Same with you, man. I appreciate that, though.
Appreciate it. And thank you. You know, you told me about how I've been being myself a little more as the episodes go up.
The show, like, no matter what, from like the beginning standpoint of it, when you were at episode 1 to when you got to 100 to what, 167, you said right now?
This is 167, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, like there's so many episodes where I'm like, okay, like this is a real dude right now talking to real people, and that's only just gonna take time. I mean, like 169 is gonna be way better, 170 is gonna be way better. Like that's just how it goes,
to
man.
300 to 400, 500 to the thousands.
So yeah, I mean, you guys are putting out really fun, interesting content that I think a lot of people could relate to. And you know, Matty, you've always been yourself. You know,
means a lot. And thank you, Danny. I really appreciate that. That really holds a lot of weight to me. And I, like you said, people will read through it right away if you're being a phony. I've learned there's nothing to lose in this world, and just have some fun. Sometimes I'm gonna strike out. Sometimes I'm gonna, you know, look like a fool. But then sometimes I'm going to make it work. So we have a lot of good stuff on the horizon. But Danny, thank you so much for killing it. As always, I love you so much.
Me, man.
And we're going to do a lot of good things moving forward, as always. The
Super
great
Bowl
Danny,
champion.
Super Bowl champions, New York Giants. Before you know it, Danny Lynch, one of the greatest of all time. Love you, bro. And I'll be seeing you really soon. Thanks again.